Alright, I've been a bit neglectful of the YouTube videos for a while, and because of that, I missed out on talking about a couple things that were announced. A couple weeks ago, a whole bunch of new animated shows were announced, and I wasn't gonna, even though I wanted to improve the Anitorials, I did still want to talk about them, so I'm gonna take the lazy way out and I'm gonna talk about them in one video, just one big giga announcement video, and we're gonna go through all of these. There's 6 of them, so let's get started. First up, there was an announcement that there's gonna be a Megaman cartoon slated for 2017. It's gonna be made by Man of Action, who is known for Ben 10 and the Marvel animated TV shows that Disney's doing right now. By the way, I had just found this out when I heard about this story. Man of Action? Not a person. It's actually a writing collaborative group. It's funny, me and my infinite wisdom of cartoons actually did not know that. I actually used to like the 90s Mega Man cartoon. It's been a while since I've watched it, so I don't know how well it's held up. And I know the comic book is really popular right now, and with Man of Action at the helm, I think they could pull off a pretty good Mega Man cartoon. Because of stuff like Ben 10 and the Marvel shows, they know they're superheroes, they know science fiction, they need to work on their humor a little bit. It's been quite a while since we've had a good animated show based on a video game. So, I don't know, I think this one could work out. It is nice to see someone using Mega Man for something, because they sure as hell aren't using him for video games anymore. Isn't that right, Mighty Number 9? Speaking of Man of Action, in 2017, we're also gonna get a reboot of Ben 10. Again. I gotta admit, I really like the original Ben 10, and I heard a lot of people didn't like Alien Force, but honestly, I think it's the best in the series. Then Ultimate Alien happened, and quality went downhill, and then Omniverse came, and that can go die in a fire. But from what I've heard, this is going to be pretty much a reboot of the original series. It's going to be about Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa Max going cross country. They're going to find the Omnitrix, I guess, and probably run into all kinds of aliens. Now, they said that this is going to be more aimed at a youth audience, and that could really mean a lot of things. But I hope they're not neglecting older fans of the show, because that's kind of where Omniverse made its mistake, because at that point, a lot of the kids that watched Ben 10 were a little bit older and maybe wanted something better, and that's kind of why I liked Alien Force, because it progressed the series. It felt like a natural progression. You know, the characters, the fan base was a little bit older, the characters were a little bit older, there was a nice storyline going on, and then Omniverse happened, and yeah, what they were hoping for was, you know, more Ben 10, more of the same cool stuff we've seen, and they got something that's stupid. The good thing about Ben 10 is that they have established that there is a multiverse. Like, every incarnation of Ben 10, from the TV shows, the comics, the movies, the live action movies, everything, it's all, you know, different universes. So even if this is not that great, it's not like it's gonna really ruin anything else. It's a little something I like to call blame dodging. So if this show sucks, can't blame the writers. Different universe. Also on Cartoon Network, premiering a little bit sooner in 2016, we're getting new Powerpuff Girls! With all new voice actors and no Craig McCracken. We asked for this? Now, to be fair, Craig McCracken is working with Disney right now, and honestly, if Disney was cutting me a check, I probably wouldn't walk away from that either. The only problem is, every time someone besides Craig McCracken gets a hold of the Powerpuff Girls, it's kinda not the same. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's just, they don't capture the original things that made the Powerpuff Girls great. Like, they did that special, that anniversary special, about a year or two ago, and it was okay. It was redesigned strangely, but I didn't dislike it. But the girls did not act the way they should. I mean, they acted like spoiled brats, honestly. And in the original show, they were much better than that. Thankfully, they did ditch that stylized design and went back to the original. And I have heard the voice actors already, and I think they sound fine. They're not the same, but I think they'll be okay. I'm more concerned about them ruining the characters, but if they nail the characters, then I think this will be okay. So with all these reboots going on, I think we should mention that Reboot is getting a reboot. Reboot is getting a reboot. Boy, it don't get much more reboot than that. I haven't seen a release date for this one yet, but it's going to be called Reboot the Guardian Code. And I know they've been talking about a reboot revival for years, but it looks like they're finally going through with it. Ever since the original show, there have been advancements in technology, the internet's a different place, gaming is different, CGI is so much better, so I hope they take full advantage of all of that. I've also heard that the storyline is not going to be just in the show, there's going to be other supplemental material that goes along with it. So I haven't really heard anything specific, but when I heard that, I'm thinking, you know, tie-in video game, maybe an interactive website or something, comic book, who knows. Now, two things. First of all, I know we said this is a reboot, but I've actually heard people call this a reimagining. I've heard some people call it a reboot. I've heard some people say it's both. So we're not exactly sure how or if at all this is going to tie into the original show, which is kind of disconcerting because the original show left off on a cliffhanger. So it'd be nice if we get a little bit of closure on that. And then there's the other thing. They announced that there's going to be live action segments to the show. Yeah, it's gonna be about 4 teenagers that discover the internet world, I guess, and are gonna be beamed into the internet to become the new Guardians. So basically, they're rebooting Code Lyoko, not Reboot. I don't like this idea at all. I think it's a huge mistake because one of the great things about Reboot was that we never saw the user. We never saw the outside world. It all happened in the net, in mainframe, and it made it like the user was some sort of abstract deity, and that was a really interesting angle, but now it seems we gotta appeal to the teen demographic. Yeah, so I was totally on board with this until I found out about the live action segments. I will try to keep an open mind, but I don't know about this one. So the last two here are not so much reboots as they are more adaptations, although in some cases you can make that argument. But anyway, in 2017, Disney Channel is gonna air a Tangled animated series. Mandy Moore and Zach Levy will return to reprise their roles, and they're gonna bring back a whole bunch of characters from the movie, including Maximus. That's very important, because Maximus is best pony. The show is supposed to take place right after the movie, and from what I hear, it's going to be about Rapunzel moving into the castle and trying to get along with her parents. So they're basically turning Tangled into a sitcom.
What happens when a wayward princess has to move back in with her parents? Hilarity's gonna ensue. Oh no!
Actually, that's not the part that's concerning me with this, because supposedly Rapunzel's gonna have her hair back. Now, not to spoil the movie or anything, but she gets it cut off at the end and she loses her powers. So, not canon? Now, to be fair, I haven't had this confirmed, but if it's true, then I have no idea how this is supposed to work. It is nice to see Disney trying an animated TV series based on one of their animated movies again, because it's been quite a while since we've had one of those, hasn't it? So this one, we're gonna wait and see how it turns out. Finally, the one that no one appears to be talking about, and honestly, of all these shows, I think this one is the most interesting to me. Titmouse, the company behind Megas XLR and Motor City and a whole bunch of Adult Swim shows like Metalocalypse and Super Jail, have announced that they're gonna do a Three Stooges series. I haven't seen a date for this one either, and I haven't even heard what channel it's gonna be on, if any channel at all. For all we know, this could be a web series. But this one, I think, could work out pretty well, because I think it fits their style. What's really got me interested is that supposedly John Kay might be involved in this. John Kay is, of course, well known for Ren and Stimpy, And the reason why I'm really liking this idea is because a lot of the humor of Ren and Stimpy came from the Three Stooges. These are supposed to be very short too. I don't know if they're going to be 11 minutes long or maybe even shorter than that, like an old Looney Tunes short. But they also said there's going to be very limited dialogue with it too, so it's going to be heavy on the slapstick, heavy on the comedy. The one thing I'm wondering about this, because with the rumored involvement of John Kay and the fact that I know people from Super Jail are going to be working on this, how violent is it going to be? Because the Three Stooges are known for violence, but the problem is, part of the comedy came from the fact that, you know, they could hit each other, they can smack each other with hammers, run saws across their head, and they'd be fine. They'd act like it hurt, but they, you know, nothing would be wrong with them. They were basically living cartoon characters. But Super Jail is known for its ultra violence. Are we going to be looking at a very violent version of the Three Stooges? Are they going to be like ripping each other's faces off and just... Is there going to be like Three Stooges blood everywhere? I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about that, but if not, if they can at least just capture the humor of the originals, I think this could be great. So those are the 6 animated series that were announced recently and are going to be coming out over the next 2 years or so. Leave a comment below and let me know if you're excited to see any of them. My name is Rob, and have a wonderful day.